Moving now to tail of the tape for the next fight in the ring. Miguel Vasquez against Mercito Gesta. Gesta is a Filipino southpaw. You've heard of that theme before. Vasquez is a Mexican backup counterpuncher. You've almost never heard of that. A 3-inch height advantage for Vasquez, who's from Guadalajara. Arm length advantage of 1 inch for Vasquez. At the weigh-in, Vasquez was right at the lightweight limit of 135, and Gesta was at 134. Vasquez has held a lightweight title for 3 years. Tonight, he weighs 145. Gesta weighs 143. Let's go to Michael Buffer for the official introductions.
Ladies and gentlemen, from the MGM Grand of Las Vegas, the action continues, brought to you by Top Rank Boxing. This contest in association with Zanfer Promotions. Sanctioned by La Cerveza Tecate and Wonderful Pistachios. Cinemax new series Banshee, Smart Communications of the Philippines, the motion picture Django Unchained, and Telcel America. At ringside, the 3 judges scoring will be Patricia Morse-Jarman, John McKay, and CJ Ross. And inside the ring, in charge of the action at the bell, your referee, Robert Byrd. And now, 12 rounds of boxing. This is for the IBF Lightweight Championship of the World. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, wearing orange with black letters, official weight 134 pounds. His professional record, an undefeated one. 26 victories, including 14 knockouts, and he has 1 even. Fighting out of San Diego, California, the undefeated challenger, Mercito No Mercy Gesta. And fighting out of the red corner, wearing black with gold, weighing in officially at 135 pounds. His professional record, outstanding. 32 victories, including 13 knockouts, only 3 defeats. Damas y caballeros de Guadalajara, Jalisco, Mexico, the reigning, defending IBF Lightweight Champion of the World, Miguel Ángel Titere Vasquez.
Give me the belt. Lindsay. Belt. Thank you, sir. 1-1. Gentlemen, you had your instructions in the dressing room. The only thing I'm going to tell you now is when I say stop, what that means is stop whatever you're doing, claim me a clean break. Habla pare, no tire golpes, fuera limpio. Okay? Protect yourself at all times, obey my commands at all times. Anything on the belt is good. Anything on the belt is good. Gentlemen, let's do this.
The 3 defeats that Vasquez has suffered, all by decision. 2 of them were by Canelo Alvarez and 1 by Timothy Bradley, both unbeaten fighters still.
He fights in a style that many Mexican boxing fans would have treated as contemptible years ago. But of course, the sport is broadening across all cultures. We see counterpunchers in Mexico now. We see finesse fighters from Africa. We see all sorts of things that we haven't seen before, and he's a perfect case of that. Gesta, on the other hand, is a hard-charging body puncher. And he has one job tonight, to try to get at Miguel Vasquez's ribcage and chop him down, which is what he's done against most of his opponents so far.
Seems to be a very poised, very calm guy. They say it's usually the quiet before the storm, but we'll see what happens tonight. Because you can believe one thing, Vasquez is not going to slow down for him.
Robert Byrd is going to rule that a slip, not a knockdown.
No, they tripped on each other's feet, Jim.
Good call by Byrd. He's a very low-key referee, never seeks attention, tries to stay out of the action. I think he's one of the best. Most of the energy being expended by Vasquez. Gesta mostly content so far to stand in the middle of the ring and wait for opportunities. Probably won't be able to do that all night.
No, I think he's just trying to get a feel for Vasquez's power and to realize what Vasquez has. Then he's going to have to try to cut the ring off and catch up with Vasquez.
Well, Vasquez has fast feet. In fact, Gesta brazenly called him a runner. He said, I'm going to have to find a runner in there.
I wouldn't really call him a runner, but you do need a couple coon dogs to track him.
And Gesta is totally devoid of coon dogs in there, right?
Exactly.
The first of those two losses to Canelo Alvarez, Larry described, was in his very first pro fight. It was a 4-round decision, and one of the reasons they had a rematch years later is because a lot of the observers in Guadalajara supposedly said, oh, we think Vasquez won the fight. They're both from Guadalajara, Vasquez and Canelo.
Watch your heads, guys, watch your heads.
Gesta now living in San Diego, originally from the Philippines. You're going to see 3 Filipino southpaws on the card tonight. One of them is a guy you've seen before, a fellow named Pacquiao. Gesta is the Filipino southpaw in this fight. In the next fight, Yuriorkis Gamboa goes against Michael Forenas, another Filipino southpaw, although a natural right-hander fighting in a southpaw stance. Gesta's a natural southpaw.
Representing the continuing search for the next Manny Pacquiao.
Man, don't play that game with him, all right? Shut the door, be aggressive with him. You're gonna have to get him first. Don't stay on the outside. We know he can't hit, son, okay? We gotta be more busy, okay? He's landing last. Watch him, watch his jab, get in there, cut him off. Shut the door.
Keep jabbing him, turn him. Don't stand there. Turn, just save. Just sit him down. Keep going. That's all you have to do, son. When he wants to come in, turn him and go. And turn him and hit him. Turn him and hit him.
Here you see 2 things. This is why you want to put your foot on the outside, your lead foot on the outside of opposite guy's foot. Right here you see him land a small punch. Wasn't big, but it did land. But on this replay, you see that he used his left foot to kick his right foot out from under him, and therefore he went down. If the punch touches his chin and goes down, what is that, Harold?
Well, when you get hit on the end of a punch, the referee could call it a knockdown. It's the referee's call.
Well, Harold, what do you think of Robert Byrd's call on that?
It was okay. I mean, he was on the painted part of the ring, which is slippery. It's freshly painted in the middle of the ring, and there's no question that Vasquez's leg caused Gesta to go down.
CompuBox numbers in one. Vasquez was 14 of 57. Gesta was only 2 of 13. Roy Jones mentioned during the round that he thought Gesta was trying to get a feel for what Vasquez's power was, what he could do. So it was purely an observatory round for him. You don't expect that he's going to throw 13 punches around all night. At some point, he's going to warm up and try to get at Vasquez's body.
Well, the bad thing about a fight like this, and what young guys just starting don't realize, is that if you don't hurry up and do something, with these 8-ounce gloves on, you may become impaired. You may get a cut, your eyes may swell up. A lot of things could happen. You could even hurt your hand before you ever get a chance to get started. So he needs to start a little earlier than he's probably planning on starting.
Well, you heard his trainer, Vince Parra, between rounds saying, don't play this game with him. You've got to go ahead and make contact. Stop!
Well, he might need some rabbit dogs instead of coon dogs then. They're a little quicker.
I was about to ask what the difference is. I'm a country boy from North Carolina, but I didn't get to hunt enough. Stop! Gesta getting a little bit more active as time goes by here in round number 2. But mostly it's been the Miguel Vasquez show, as Vasquez shows you his ability to circle the ring, which is virtually unparalleled, and his jab.
What was impressive to me, Jim, is that Vasquez said his father trained him, but I think he started training him first in Cuba. which would explain why he moves so much and boxes so much instead of being the normal what we see in Mexican fighters, people that just sit down and punch.
Well, and of course, Guadalajara is way down at the bottom of Mexico and, you know, a little bit different in culture than a lot of the rest of the country. That could have something to do with it, too.
Roy, I've got 2 little dogs in my house, and they fight each other better than what I'm seeing here.
Well, it is anything but a dog fight so far, that's for sure.
Well, Gesta just doesn't have a lot of experience, and Vasquez is not the easiest guy to catch up with.
Good. Don't let him frustrate you, okay?
December 15th, 122-pound doubleheader matchup of Nonito Donaire against Jorge Arce and Guillermo Rigondeaux versus Punsawat Platendangin. You try to pronounce it better. Immediately following boxing, stay tuned for my show, The Fight Game. We'll continue to tackle the most timely topics in the world of boxing.
All right, don't let him frustrate you, okay? Get into a rhythm and get busy. Get busy and cut his door.
Throw the looping shots on the inside and on the outside. All right? Right hand. Jab, 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 and then throw it in. But throw him in with total confidence. Right here, right this distance. Throw it. Action on the right. Surprise the right.
I'm going to say something.
Vasquez's trainer is not in his corner. He is Javier Capateo, who was Arturo Antonio Margarito's trainer in the infamous incident of the loaded gloves, and is not permitted in a corner or a dressing room in the U.S.
Free up your hands.
He is in the building. He did train Vasquez for the fight. He did come to the fighter meeting with the fighter yesterday.
Let me referee my
So
fight.
the restrictions against him are technical in the sense that they take place during the fight. And the only penalty there, of course, is the degree to which Vasquez misses his corner instructions. But he's fought in the United States before, so he's been through this before. We asked Capetillo yesterday, given the tremendous style difference between Vasquez and Antonio Margarito, which of the two styles he was more accustomed to training, and he said, I'm a professional trainer. I train the guys who walk into my gym. Whatever style they bring, I'm there to try to make it better. That's the Freddie Roach style of training. As opposed to some trainers who enforce a style, and that was a good, hard, straight right hand by Vasquez that knocked Gesta back. In the first 2 rounds, Gesta only threw 30 punches and only landed 3 by CompuBox count. So all the waving Vasquez in and come on, let's fight hasn't been backed up by anything yet.
Well, he's trying to make Vasquez be still and fight him so that he can get his punches off, but that's not going to happen. I don't know which part of the story he didn't get right, but Vasquez is going to move until tomorrow sometime. He will not stop moving this night here, I guarantee you. I seen a tape of him one time. The referee had to catch him to raise his hands. He ain't going to be there, so ain't no sense of you thinking he going to stand there and fight you.
Yeah, this is a lowercase, you know, version of Trout and Cotto.
Well, Cotto went fishing but couldn't catch the trout, right?
At all.
Yeah. He had the wrong bait on the hook.
This cat needs a net. Oh, headbutt.
Gesta with a grin on his face as though something interesting is happening there. Not yet.
What's an interesting headbutt? No cut from it, but.
Pick him up. Pick him up.
He keeps, has to keep shaking his head, says, you're not hurting me, you're not hurting me.
Don't spin him.
But he keeps getting hit every time.
Vasquez might say, I'm not trying to hurt you. I'm just trying to win these rounds by a landslide. And by the way, that's what's happening.
You know, I asked Esther about his tattoos and why he had them on. He says, I'm trying to scare my opponents. He's not scaring his opponent very much right here.
Moments ago, in the dressing room of Manny Pacquiao, a political moment. One politician to another, as Mitt Romney visited the member of Congress.
Wish you good luck tonight. Congratulations on your race.
Thank you.
And your fight. Congratulations. Way to go. Have a great night. Thanks, guys. Thank you. Good to see you.
And by way of equal time, we should report that Mitt Romney went down the hall and visited Juan Manuel Marquez instead. I wonder if he knew that Pacquiao is a giant supporter of Senate Majority Leader Harry Reid.
Use your face.
The Democrat from right here in Nevada. And a former amateur fighter, by the way.
Relax. Do you. Use your face. Use your skills, son, but let your hands go.
Vince Para yelling at his fighter, let your hands go. Nothing's going to happen in the fight if Gesta doesn't do that. Through 3 rounds, Gesta's thrown 17 jabs and landed 2. Vasquez is 19 of 116. So he's already thrown 99 more jabs in the fight than has Mercito Gesta. Now, if Gesta can make it a wrestling match like this, maybe it gets more interesting. Stop. The referee had to chase him down to hold up his arm. I've never heard that one before. Harold, how do you have it through 3?
Miguel Angel Vasquez is doing what Miguel Angel Vasquez does. He sticks you and he moves. He sticks you and he moves. Just keeps piling up points with that left jab and getting that. There it is. Gets a point for the left jab and he moves. And he's done this for 3 rounds already. 30-27, 3-0 Miguel Vasquez, based on ring generalship and that left jab.
Based on ring generalship, and ring generalship, right?
Something like that.
I guess you could call it defense too.
Sure could.
Frequent movement miles.
Good body shot by Gesta with the right hand. His best punch so far in the fight. You can hear it at ringside.
Yeah, I think he's trying to hit him with a bomb and get him out of there or hurt him pretty bad. And that could happen, I don't know. But it seems like it'd be pretty hard if this guy went 14 rounds with Canelo Alvarez.
Well, here's the thing about Gesta. He's a body puncher. He's a guy who's 26-0-1, but only 14 knockouts. So the notion of swinging away to try to hurt Vasquez with one punch here, that's kind of a roulette play. That doesn't have really great odds. Gesta coming in, and Vasquez pot shots him with the left hand before moving away again.
The only way to slow down a fighter like Vasquez is with relentless pressure. And Gesta is not doing that.
Not too long ago, Top Rank Promotions signed a United States Olympian and a hot new prospect, Jose Carlos Ramirez. Tonight he made his professional debut on the undercard against a fighter named Corey Seaguarth. And this was one of those pro forma first professional fight matchups as Roy Jones, Jose Ramirez went in and teed off.
Yeah, he teed off on a guy that really was kind of defenseless, but the good thing about it was he teed off to the body.
Landing body shots throughout the 2 minutes of the fight, and eventually Vic Draculich stepped in and stopped it at 2 minutes and 5 seconds of the first round. Ray Leonard, seated at ringside, has been very prominent in the media room all week. We also saw Steven Seagal seated at ringside. Earlier you saw the shots of Mitt Romney, who has now visited both dressing rooms.
I've been around here a long time, Jim, when Ray Leonard interviewed me yesterday.
He interviewed me too. Ray sitting down and working at the microphone and also reminiscing just a little bit about his days with us, Larry, back in the 80s and 90s. CompuBox numbers through 4. Vasquez 63 of 202. Gesta 13. Yes, 13 landed punches in the first 4 rounds out of 82.
Well, Jim, Gesta told us that he was going to cut the ring off on Vasquez. I don't know what round he planned on starting to do that, but we haven't seen him really cut the ring off as much or as confidently as he seemed to have made up in his head when we talked to him in the fighter meeting.
Larry described what has happened to Javier Capetillo, the former trainer of Antonio Margarito, who is Miguel Vasquez's trainer and is not allowed to be in his corner tonight because of the lifetime ban which attached to the loaded glove incident in Los Angeles when Margarito was scheduled to fight Shane Mosley, tried to enter the ring with loaded gloves and eventually had them taken away. There's Capetillo, who is seated in the crowd and for whatever it's worth is still trying to yell instructions into the ring for his fighter. How would you resist the urge to do that if that's what you've been doing for decades as a trainer?
If the commission was doing its job,
he should not.
He should not be able to do that.
Well, why not?
Because in theory, the ban, Roy, is aimed at limiting any influence whatsoever that he could have on the actual fight itself.
Okay. Did they allow him in the dressing room at all?
No, he is not allowed to go to the dressing room.
That's the main danger, I think, because he loaded gloves. So as long as he's not allowed to make contact with the fighter, I don't think him screaming from the audience really is going to hurt too much.
Well, I think trainers have to know, Roy, that that there are some things they might want to try to do that are not good for their business.
Well, I'm not sure where he's seated. I haven't seen exactly in which row he's seated, and I think the indication is he's about 10 rows back. Well, so probably he's just, you know, yelling for himself.
Yeah, because you don't have to tell this guy too much. He already has it down punch.
Right. He knows
down
what he's doing.
Punch, move, 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 punch.
And he's fighting against a guy who, at least in terms of understanding and deciphering his style, looks like a novice at this point.
He just doesn't have the experience, Jim. This is what happens when you step up in class against something that you never faced before.
If you're going to cut off the ring against somebody like Vasquez, you have to cut it off pretty doggone quick.
Yeah, very quick.
All right, let me correct the 10 rows to 7 or 8 rows. Same thing. I still don't think that Vasquez can hear it. That's a good, healthy swing and miss by Gesta. If he makes contact with that ball, he'll hit it into the right field seats.
or go 0 for 5 with 5 strikeouts.
Relax. More water? No? Wash this off. He's open up.
That's it all, okay? You're gonna have to force the action. Don't let him do his thing. He's winning like that. All right? All right. I know he's frustrating you. You gotta dig deep, son. Okay?
Power punches through 5. Vasquez 43 of 76, 57%. So when he chooses to throw a power punch, he chooses to throw it when he's pretty doggone sure he's going to land it. Gesta 11 of 79. Harold, a comment from you on the Javier Capetillo situation?
You know, Jim, there's absolutely no rules against letting a guy sit in the stands and yell to his fighter from the audience. I mean, he's doing absolutely nothing wrong. He can buy a ticket, sit in the 4th row, and yell to Miguel Vasquez all night if he wants to. I find this very, very similar to the Louis Resto situation in New York, where Louis Resto went to jail for what he did with Billy Collins, and yet they won't give him a seconds license now to do what he does.
Are you saying that you're opposed to lifetime bans, Harold?
Louis Resto paid his dues. Louis Resto should be, you know, he should get a license to work the corners for his fighters. Capetillo, he's got to pay his dues. He didn't go to jail.
Well, there's a big difference, of course, because ultimately Margarito did not get to go into the ring with the loaded gloves against Shane Mosley, and Luis Resto beat up Billy Collins with loaded gloves. And there's Capetillo again.
Let him go. Let him go. Free up. Free up.
Maybe Vasquez's shoes are loaded for this fight.
Loaded shoes.
Well, he's been loading them for quite some time now, Larry, because every time I see him, they're loaded.
It looks like Gesta's shoes are loaded with sandbags. What would be the ideal style for countering what Vasquez does, Roy?
Tie some chains to his legs. Tie one chain to your leg, one chain to his. Like a 6-inch chain where you can't get that far away.
Well, when Abner Maris fought the Panamanian Moreno, he gave a clinic on how you fight a boxer mover by being relentless, going to the body, and never stop, keep coming.
That was a brilliant win for Maris against one of the most skilled technical boxers in the sport. One of the reasons that Abner Maris arouses so much excitement and attention, and fans would love to see a matchup between him and Nonito Donaire, although of course they are promoted by rival promoters which don't often do business with each other.
Hey, you know, that's a shame, but hey.
All right, as soon as this round ends, and it ended right now, there's a look at where Capetillo is. Okay, so there you can get a sense now of the distance between Capetillo and the corner where Vasquez is taking instructions from someone else. It's Miguel Vasquez Sr., the father of the fighter, who is actually giving instructions in the corner.
You gotta throw more. You gotta throw more, but at your distance. Which way with his hands? With two hands then. The right to catch him. And throw him quick. Two. That's what you have to do. All right?
Let it go. It's only tonight.
So far, on a night like this, it doesn't much matter what anybody says to Miguel Vasquez. He's fighting his fight in his own preordained natural style. Gesta has no answers for it, hasn't had a clue yet how to cut off the ring and land something of real consequence, and consequently, Miguel Vasquez would appear to be pitching a shutout against Mercito Gesta at this point.
The problem that a guy like Miguel Vasquez poses to headbutts, poses to the other fighter is that they don't expect that he can punch while he's moving, but he actually can.
Stop. Step out.
So it's harder for them to just come at him and throw punches while he's moving because he's punching also.
Harold, how do you have it so far?
Okay, Jim, just like you said, 60-54, 6-0, Miguel Vasquez. I tell you, Jim, Gesta's going to have to start throwing some punches, get busy, pick up the pace, do something to win a round, or he's just going to lose a decision. I mean, this guy, he really hasn't done anything. It's a darn shame. Miguel Vasquez constantly sticking and moving, reminiscent of a fighter named Samuel Serrano years ago who kept his junior lightweight title by, you know, sticking and moving for 15 rounds. Anyway, 6-0, Miguel Vasquez.
Johnny Nelson.
Johnny Nelson of Great Britain?
Yes, sir. I think he's still somewhere moving.
Amazing body. Never much used it other than to run.
Well, he didn't really run, but he was moving.
Gesta seems to feel he can turn all this around at some point with one big punch. We haven't seen anything to indicate that so far.
Well, the problem a lot of guys misinterpret about a fighter like Vasquez is that because he's a mover, he doesn't want to get hit. But they're wrong. He doesn't care about getting hit. He doesn't care about getting hit hard.
He doesn't?
Not at all.
So you mean all the movement is about setting up his offense?
That's all it is. He's not really concerned about you hitting him. If he was, he'd have never fought Canelo Alvarez twice. See that? He's not afraid to trade.
That's a heck of a point. I never thought of it that way.
He's not. If you look at him, he really is not afraid to trade.
I thought he fought Alvarez twice because they were both from Guadalajara.
Nah.
Look how wrong you can be.
Well, he's got a good-looking beard.
You think so, Larry?
Yeah, I think
Okay.
he's
You know, his
one
nickname,
of the better groomed fighters we've seen.
His nickname translates to the puppet.
Yeah, but you know, that's interesting. There's a different interpretation of what puppet is in Mexico. It's a guy who jumps around and moves the way he does. It's not a guy being controlled necessarily in somebody's hand.
Moments ago, referee Kenny Bayless will be handling the main event, issuing instructions to Juan Manuel Marquez in his dressing room.
There is no 3 knockdown rule, and you can't be saved by the bell in any round. Keep all your punches up and in front of the man. No low blows, no rabbit punches, no kidney punches. In the event of a knockdown, the fighter standing is to go to the furthest neutral corner or the corner I tell you to go to and stay there. While I'm counting the down fighter, if I see you drifting out of that corner, I'm going to stop counting, I'm going to put you back, and it's just going to give your opponent more time to recover. If your mouthpiece comes out of your mouth, you keep fighting. And as soon as the action slows down, I'll call time, get the mouthpiece over to your chief, he'll clean it off, insert it back in your mouth without any instructions. Now, when you're working this fight,
And Marco Antonio Barrera and Julio Cesar Chavez Sr. working together at ringside. I can't imagine what it is they say about Miguel Vasquez and his fighting style, but of course, he's a Mexican, so surely they have appreciation. Jabs through the 8th round. Vasquez 43 of 231. Gesta 9 of 44. I'm really sorry we won't be able to show you a picture of this. They say that politics makes strange bedfellows. Boxing, of course, can top politics in that regard, and part and parcel of that was the meeting across the ring moments ago between Mitt Romney and Meta World Peace. That's been waiting for a while. Talk about a tectonic shift. Good body shot by Vasquez. He's also, you know, to extend commentary through all the things that we're trying to cover about Vasquez, he's like that junk ball pitcher who's sneaky fast, Roy.
He sure is. He's sneaky fast and he's sneaky powerful.
That's the point. You know, you don't expect him out of this style to throw a punch that might stop you in your tracks, but every once in a while, he'll hit you in the mouth with a straight right hand that lands harder than you think it would.
That's him. That's what he's most known for, I think. And that's why I say guys look at him and they assume that he's running because he doesn't like contact or that he can't punch, but neither of the two things are true.
Fascinating. And that makes him overall a pretty tough nut to crack in the lightweight division. Adrian Broner is a big force in the lightweight division now. I'm sure that Broner is in no hurry to try to fight somebody like Vasquez.
Stop.
Broner will fight them all. He don't really care.
Oh, I'm sure he'd say, yeah, I can find him. I'm not worried about it. Let me at him, et cetera, but there are other fights that would be more entertaining for Broner.
Exactly.
Can we make this an 8-rounder, please?
Well, I guess we could call it the calm before the storm.
Guy out of here. So get busy, son. I can't tell you, it's slipping away. Get busy on him.
Beginning on Christmas, it's 5 nights of HBO's Best of 2012. 7 memorable fights, including Mayweather Cotto and Chavez Martinez, 5 others. January 19, Boxing After Dark returns with a triple header. Among the fighters featured Orlando Salido, Mikey Garcia, and Triple G, Gennady Golovkin.
Cut him off, exactly. Make it happen, baby. That's it.
Cut him off. Make it happen, baby. Vince Parra trying to get something out of his fighter, Mercito Gesta, as Gesta goes into the 8th round against Miguel Vasquez, or excuse me, the 9th round. As in the 8th round, which was just passed, Vasquez landed 22 of 59, the 22 connected punches, his high number for the fight. Gesta landed 6 of 34. That's an offensive explosion for Gesta compared to what he's done previously in the fight.
I think the issue, Roy, is if you didn't put enough hurt on him early in the fight, how are you hoping that you're going to slow him down at the end of the fight?
I kind of agree with you there, Larry. I don't think he attacked the body enough. As a matter of fact, Vasquez has attacked his body a lot.
Stop.
And there Vasquez just showed his willingness to fight. Gesta hit him with a good left hand, and he came right back with a good right of his own.
Let him go.
When you hear long, extended periods of silence from our commentary team during a boxing match, it's either for one of 2 reasons. It's because the action is so good that we don't want to mar it by speaking, or because the same thing is happening over and over and over again, and it's not overwhelmingly interesting. Guess which?
Let him go. Why don't you get out? Stop. Stop out.
I think we need a DJ. Good hook by Gesta. You can't say he's not trying, though. He's trying to get there with those big shots. He's just not having...
He just landed a right hook.
Yeah, he's just not having a lot of luck landing them. But
I think the right hook he just landed was actually the most solid punch he landed all night.
Yep.
He's fired up now.
I think
he thinks he's made contact.
Yeah, I think he had his best round as far as contact goes.
Let's go.
He didn't want to hear nothing from ringside, so he finally did something.
I've got to make these commentators speak.
Stop, guys. Step out. Let's go.
Well, Larry Merchant visited Manny Pacquiao's dressing room just a short time ago. So as soon as this round ends, and we can't wait, we'll go to hear what Larry and Pacquiao had to say.
Interview with Sir Larry Merchant here in the MGM before the fight of Manny Pacquiao tonight, and 2 hours before the fight, and here in the dressing room of Manny Pacquiao. And sir, what can you say about the fight tonight?
I think I have to confirm for everybody that I did win all of the previous fights.
Hold on, that's my line. That's my line. Yes, I need. Yes, we need a good answer for the mind of the people tonight. So that's why there's a Marquez 4. It's happened tonight. So what do you think about the fight? It's Marquez ready or in Manny Pacquiao?
Well, I think that he may feel that he has a mission to accomplish, and he thinks that's higher motivation than it is for you, who it's just another big fight.
That's that's a great responsibility for both fighters tonight, and they have to make the people impressed to the performance of both fighters, Manny Pacquiao and Juan Manuel Marquez, and it's gonna be excited.
Well, thank you. I will do my best. I can assure you.
Thank you, sir.
Here's my serious comment on that, and I mean this because I've said it hundreds of times before to people in various different settings. He's the single most comfortable public figure I've ever seen. I've never seen any public figure in any walk of life who so enjoys his romance with the public, with the camera, with public exposure in general, the way Manny Pacquiao does.
Well, he looked really nervous there before the big fight.
Exactly. That's the whole point.
Well, that's why he can be a politician.
I'll never forget watching him walk down the hallway from his dressing room here the night of his fight against Miguel Cotto, and he had not risen to the point at that moment where we saw him the way we see him now. It was his dominance of Cotto in part that got him that way, but as he walked to the ring against Cotto, he was looking at the pictures through the hallway of all the great entertainers who have performed here at the MGM Grand and pointing to the pictures. Wow, look, that's Madonna. Oh, look, that's the Beatles. You know, as though he was walking the hall for the first time. It was extraordinary.
He's a heck of a guy.
He really is. A very unusual person. And while as an opponent, you may want to dislike Manny Pacquiao, that's not terribly easy.
No, it's not easy at all.
Meanwhile, more of the same in the 10th of the scheduled 12 here between Vasquez in the black and gold trunks. In case you've just joined us, Vasquez is a lightweight title belt holder, has been for nearly 3 years. Fights in this extremely unusual style, particularly for a Mexican fighter. Uses every bit of the ring and some parts of the ring that other fighters haven't seen. Stays away until the moment when he wants to land a punch against you, like that. And then, once this little skirmish is finished, he'll go away again. And Mercito Gesta has simply been lost in attempting to cut off the ring, create confrontations with Miguel Vasquez, get him into the kind of fight where he could have a chance. It's not going to happen.
So far, Gesta just never has let the dogs out.
Stop. 5 seconds. That's all.
Give me the towel. Give me the towel.
Good. All right? I ain't gonna lie to you.
Round 11 of the scheduled 12 coming up. Irvin Magic Johnson, tremendous boxing fan, comes to most of the very big fights here in Las Vegas, seated at ringside. We're going to have a treat before our next fight, because in the next fight, Yuriorkis Gamboa is coming back from a 14-month layoff to fight against a southpaw Filipino named Michael Farinas. Gamboa is now promoted by 50 Cent. 50 Cent, having made his much celebrated entry into the world of boxing promotion, is going to be himself a part of the promotion tonight, as he is going to perform prior to Gamboa's fight against Farinas. And the performance is going to be extraordinary. Don't miss it. That's all I'm going to tell you for now.
That was a good hook landed by Vasquez, a good left hook, but Gesta took it very well.
There was a little right hook landed by Gesta. Kind of a glancing blow, though. The solid crunch of an 8-ounce glove against the chin of the opponent. Gesta hasn't experienced that all night.
He landed one or two decent ones. This will be a learning experience for him, I think.
Or just a lost weekend in Vegas. Hangover 1.
Or Top Rank will decide, no, this is not the next Manny Pacquiao.
All right, stop. Stop. Let's go.
A good right hand by Vasquez.
Punch it out. Punch it out. Stop. 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 Watch your head. Watch your head.
Start calling Vasquez the water moccasin.
Water moccasin.
Yeah, it's not cute, but it's deadly, his style.
All right, because so much commentary has surrounded the judging of the first 3 fights between Manny Pacquiao and Juan Manuel Marquez, the Nevada State Athletic Commission decided to go an extra step this weekend, and the extra step was a seminar that Nevada State Athletic Commission Executive Director Keith Kaiser conducted for both camps yesterday with the judges who will score the main event tonight. Let's take a look.
And as you know, this is different than amateur boxing. This isn't a matter of who landed the most punches wins that round. That's not how it works in professional boxing. It's basically whoever got the better of the other fighter during the round under that criteria. And also, of course, as you know, a fight may be very close overall, but the scores could be 12-0 or 11-1 or 9-3, or it could be a very wide fight as a whole, but it still might be 6-6 or 7-5. It's round by round. The judges score the first round as if it's the only round of the fight, and they score every subsequent round as if it's the first round of the fight.
And we watched Steven Seagal seated at ringside. He was not a part of the scoring summary yesterday, but Harold Letterman, what was that? And what do you think it accomplished?
I tell you, Jim, there's not a thing that Keith Kaiser said that John Keane, Adelaide Byrd, and Steve Weisfeld didn't know already. I mean, it was really for show. That's all there is to it. You know, once in a while, a commissioner will go into the officials' dressing room right before a fight starts and say something about how he thinks the fight's going to go. But as far as that seminar yesterday, I don't think it really is going to affect the outcome of the fight at all. Maybe all it did was put a little bit more pressure on the judges.
Well, I'm sure that Kaiser felt like it was the right step to take to try to ward off any confusion or disillusionment in the wake of whatever decision is rendered tonight.
I think it was, in general, for public relations because of the result of the Bradley Pacquiao fight and how it disillusioned or disenchanted a lot of fans.
I just hope none of that he said is applicable to this fight tonight.
Well, we shall see. One more fight between now and the main event, and this mercifully and blessedly, thank heaven, this is the last of the 12 rounds between Vasquez and Gesta. After this, the fight will be over.
I seen Gesta just run at him a little bit, so I don't know.
No one will complain about seeing Yuriorkis Gamboa again. We've been waiting for him to come back. His amazing hand speed, his fluid skills, his constant search for identity as a fighter. That'll be fun to watch. We hope.
Let him go. Swat the low.
Meanwhile, these first 2 hours have gone by that seems like about a week.
Okay, I think we've made the point.
Gesta showed no fear tonight, although he just wasn't aggressive enough to win this fight. This was his first probably step up like this, and this is usually what happens when a guy steps up to a guy that they think looks easier outside of the ring than he does inside. I'm sure if you look at Vasquez, you have no reason to be afraid of him or to think that he's not easy to beat until you get in front of him. When you get in front of him, you realize that there's something special in that pair of shoes that he's wearing.
And I'm thinking one of your keys to victory for Manny Pacquiao, Roy Jones, you talked about how Pacquiao must, in this fight, move after he throws his big shots to avoid the counters coming back from Marquez. Just think how difficult it is to counter Miguel Vasquez.
You better call him the night before and tell him you're going to count it.
You'd have to have 8-foot arms. It's over.
Boom for the fight. Yay, it's over.
And that will be, in all likelihood, another lopsided victory for Miguel Vasquez, whose only 3 losses, as Larry mentioned early, 2 to Canelo Alvarez and 1 to Timothy Bradley. To everyone else, he's been an insoluble riddle, and Harold Letterman was nothing if not consistent in his scoring of the fight.
Gesta's people took a shot. Maybe they thought they were as good as Alvarez and Bradley.
Harold,
they weren't.
Who are the 3 official judges for the Gesta and the Vasquez extravaganza?
Okay, Jim. Patricia Jarman, a judge since 1985. As you see, 83 title fights. Obviously, the dean of women judges, no doubt about it. She worked the light heavyweight title fight recently between Nathan Cleverly and Sean Hawk. Good judge. John McKay from Flushing, New York. I love this kid. He really goes all over. Terrific judge from New York. He worked the fight up in Canada recently with Lucian Boutte and Dennis Braychev. Does a good job. And C.J. Ross, you know, she recently worked Leo Santa Cruz and Eric Morrell at Staples Center. But anyway, you know, actually that was at MGM Grand. But, you know, her decisions are really up for question now because of Bradley Pacquiao, which she had for Bradley.
Which she had for Bradley, yeah. That's exactly right.
Jim, hey, I got to comment on something. This hasn't been done for a long time, but you get a fight like this, Robert Byrd really would have been, you know, within his realm to go into the corner and say, if you don't fight, you ain't getting paid. I'm going to hold up your salary. He should have got to Keith Carson, the commissioner, and said, hold the salary pending an investigation, because this was brutal.
Let's go to Michael Buffer now for the official decision.
Ladies and gentlemen, here at the MGM Grand of Las Vegas, we go to the scorecards. John McKay scores at 117-111. Patricia Morris Jarman 119-109, and C.J. Ross 118-110, all to the winner by unanimous decision, and still IBF lightweight world champion Miguel Angel Vasquez.
Well, that was interesting. How did they find all those rounds to give to Gesta? And here are the final CompuBox numbers. Vasquez landing 3 times as many punches, throwing 280 more, and landing at a significantly higher connect percentage. Up next here in Las Vegas, the return of former featherweight champ Yuri Orcus Gamboa. He's been out of the ring for more than a year, getting stripped of his title in the process.